So hey, this is Josh with Content Marketing Media, and excited to kind of show you what I think is probably one of the coolest workflows we've ever built. So our goal here was to tackle email replies. And so as you can see, we get a ton of replies every day, and we wanted to be able to respond to those day and night. And I'm not going to tell you, in the beginning that we have exactly perfected this, but I think what we've done is pretty good. We'll have the ability to build onto it, like sending AI videos, since those enrichments now exist in Clay, and then really kind of building our reply engine. Today we use templates as an example, but I think with AI and the ability to ingest, what people are saying to us, we can make this even better. But we made it functional, and I think that's what's important. And we made it usable, and then I think we've given the ability for people to kind of build onto it if they choose to. So I want to first start off by saying we use Instantly. This would work with Smart Lead as well, obviously, because Smart Lead has enrichments directly in Clay, the ability to bring that in, bring it, push it out. But it was a little bit more challenging because the inbound from Instantly is not there, but we did it via webhook. So I wanted to show you first, these are our replies starting today. You can see at 7:38 this morning, and we're all the way up to 10:12. So about 40 something replies, or 40 exactly, in the last few hours. And so I wanted to just show you the webhook here. And so we're pulling in the data directly from the webhook. There's a lot of data that we can pull in. And I'll show you, for the Instantly users, it's actually relatively easy to do this. And so let me get to the settings. And if you go to your account, and I've got to remember where I found it here. Oh, webhook. So what you need to do is just add a webhook, and in Clay, and I'll click off here for a minute to show you how to do this. You hit new table, we'll just say blank table, custom table, give it a second to load, and then I think it's just webhook. I could be wrong. It's never easy when you're trying to remember how to do it from memory, but you can just add a webhook or bring in data via webhook, and maybe what I need to do. Let me just try this. So import, and I think it actually may be here. So import from webhook. Yeah, there it is. Right. So obviously this is real and raw. So yeah, so you import from webhook, you copy this URL that's here. So this is your Clay table webhook, and then you paste it into Instantly, right? And you get to choose, you know, in my case, I did replies received, right? So I chose to bring in the webhook there, right? And so when you do that, let me get back to my table here, um, email reply automation. I'm bringing in all the replies that I'm receiving, right? So as you see right here, these are the replies. And what's neat is that, as I mentioned, there's a lot of information. So I've got all my lead information in here. I've got the HTML code. I can scroll down further, and I've got the sequence of the events, so the reply text, and that'll be important when I play this out in a minute. A lot of other information: campaign, email account I use to send, company name, stuff that is loaded in the lead. So it's live, so it'll update as replies come in. If you remember a few seconds ago when we started, we were at 40, now we're at 41. We've got the reply subject, the company name. Again, these are columns I chose to pull down, the campaign. What's really cool about this webhook, and I haven't done this yet, but you could really start analyzing your data and look at like the types of replies you're getting, et cetera. So as with any conventional campaign, right, you're going to get a lot of, stops. You're going to get a lot of, I'm not interested. But the goal is to kind of weed out those positive replies, right? So I'll get to how we do that in a minute, but we've got the reply text, the timestamp, the contact information, their email, and then I run all my leads through Clay, right? So one of the things I can do is look up to that table. So I do a lookup directly to the table where I ran the leads from, and I can pull down any data from that. So this is my lead data that I use to build my enrichments that I send from Instantly. So because I have this, I have all of this data on this lead. And so imagine this being just my lead database, right? And so I know all this when crafting my reply. And I think that's going to be pretty cool when you start to think about how you craft AI replies. Um, and we do some AI here, but we haven't, I haven't really gotten to the point yet where I want to fully craft a reply using AI, at least to the extent I think I can do it. But it'd be cool and it's nice that I can do a lookup to my lead data. So I have everything I already know about this lead before I even sent them an email, and now I have that same information when I do the reply. So just for a sample, I wanted to show you, like, I'm pulling in my Cohere output that we use this week for our leads, their website, which I didn't have in Instantly. And, that was just because I didn't push it there originally. But I can pull any data I want. As I showed you, I have, 43 data points on this lead, right? So pretty significant, especially from analytics and reporting perspective. But we're going to go further, right? So the next thing we do is sentiment analysis, right? So you can do, Instantly does this themselves. This is really kind of just replicating that. I'm not trying to replace what they're doing. I want to test and really kind of build on the idea of utilizing AI to craft a very specific response. And so that's why I built this in here. But I'm going to build this out even further. I mean, just especially creating hyper generic specific replies. But this prompt basically looks at the reply text. So here's the replies, analyze the sentiment of the reply. I wrote some custom things in here, like if they say stop, which is what my unsubscribe option is, then automatically classify them as unsubscribe. If they reference budget or cost, I still think that's an opportunity to have a discussion. That's personal preference, right? You may say that's a negative or not interested, but I think it's an opportunity to, because we've moved forward, right? Now they're talking about, what's the cost, or, I need to establish budget. So I consider that a positive reply. And then, of course, you can customize this to be whatever you want. But then I classify that sentiment as positive, negative, unsubscribe. And then I ask it to output in a JSON, because we want it in JSON format so that we can have a column that says positive, negative, or unsubscribe, right? So that's why we do that. And then you have to check this box here to make sure it outputs in JSON. So when you do that, you get an output that looks like this, and you get your response in a JSON column. And so I then input, that column right here. And so we have our unsubscribes, our negatives, our positives, right? It's nice because this is live, right? So we're still at 41, but we're getting some, positives in. We've got a couple positives today already. And so from that, I think the next thing to understand is here's where I inject our templates. So it's not overly complex, but and I think we would use a little bit more detail here, but I wanted to show you as an example of what you could do, right? So think of this as your templated replies that maybe your VA uses or someone else uses to reply. So I just classified interested, first name, thanks for getting back to me, sharing our calendar, and then pricing, first name, thanks for asking, here's our pricing page. Again, these are just examples of replies, and you would customize it. But the concept here is, right, is that you're telling it, if you get this type of reply, I want you to reply this way, right? The nice thing is when you start to build in AI, then you can get a little bit deeper in your reply and really craft a specific reply that's not just exactly what you said, but is enhanced based off how they replied, right? So I know that's a little bit complex, but the idea here is we're going to build this out to continuously get better and build out more detailed replies, because that's what schedules meetings. When you can answer people's questions with detail, that you can do it in a timely manner, people are going to engage in schedule calls, right? And the first thing you got to do is get them on a call if you're going to have the opportunity to sell. If you can't get them on a call and you lose them in this process, then you're losing opportunities and you're losing money. And timeliness matters, right? And part of building this out in an automated fashion is really the concept that we need to be able to do this quickly. And if we can do this in minutes or seconds, then we're highly, exponentially more likely to get them on a call, or we can engage and potentially, sell our services or close them. So part of this reply logic, I want to stress too, it's just the idea that, we're not going to run it. We're not going to spend GPT cost if, at the end of the day, like, they are not a positive, right? So I've set up the filter here. I don't know if I showed that, but I've set up the actual filter here. when I look at this prompt is, start off to say, analyze the reply text, right? So look at what they said, review my responses, which is in that column I just went over with you, and then output them in a way, um, based on their reply, right? So for semantics, or not really semantics, for structuring reasons, I said don't reference their name because I don't want it to write the whole email. I just want it to write the body. Don't include a greeting, only include the body of in the response. Make sure to include the calendar link only once. So these are typical chat GPT correction kind of things. And then this is a persona based thing. So your job is to craft a reply. Don't output anything but the reply, et cetera, right? You can customize all this. This is my personal preference on how I like to reply to people. Very direct, very professional, not salesy, but you can obviously change this to be whatever you want. And then I think I didn't show you, but I forgot to mention too, is I have this so that, it doesn't run a formula unless it's a positive reply, right? So conditional formula here, and you can do this with AI, but reply sentiment equals to positive. So that's why it's not going to actually even run. I won't spend the GPT cost unless I have a positive reply, which I have here. Right. So the nice thing is the replies are good. Right. So if you want to look at, here's this one. I understand budget constraints can be a real challenge. However, I believe there's still an opportunity to explore potential synergies between our firms without immediate commitment. La la la. Right. So again, you would want to tweak this to make it match what you want to say. I'll show you another positive reply here. So this one is, thanks for reaching out. Here's a link to the pricing information. They obviously asked about the pricing. You notice it injected my pricing page, which I wanted it to do. And then let's connect to, talk more, right? So feel free to schedule a call. So, I still think I want to do some tweaking with the language here, but the concept is what I want to really introduce here is that we have templates, we have logic, and then can we really make this real time? And the answer is yes. So again, I don't use Smart Lead, so I know that you can go back and forth. In this case, we're using Instantly. So I want to show you, you have to go in and map the columns, right? So as we've done here, I'll just show you with this enrichment. We have our API key. We've got our reply campaign, which we set up in Instantly. We're mapping the columns we want. The cool thing is we're mapping the output of the logic here. So this is the actual reply. And then in the custom variables, we're going to bring over the subject, which we got from the webhook, and then the text. So the text is important because we need a continuity of the email, right? So the reply text is actually everything before our reply. And I'm going to show you why that's important in a minute. But we have this set to auto update. So, going back through the webhook, we get a live reply. We run these are all set to run automatically. The only thing left to analyze is the positive replies. We get our output, it immediately adds it to our Instantly campaign. So here we are, and let's go back to that campaign. And you can see I run 6 live campaigns all the time. And so this is the reply campaign. And we're going to go to the lead here, and you can see this is the one I will show you. That is Mark. And scroll over here. I believe this is the bottom one. Yeah, that's Mark. So hopefully Mark's not watching this video. But it's pushed it to the campaign, which is nice. You can see the columns. This is all coming from the Clay workflow. And then I want to show you the sequence, right? So the sequence looks rather boring, right? Hey, first name, personalization, thanks, me, and then original reply. So this looks pretty weird. I get it. But we're injecting all of this with the data from the Clay table, right? So, hey, Mark, and then personalization is the reply, right? So look at that. Boom, there's the reply, right? Hey, Mark, thanks for reaching out. So this is the reply that the AI generated, right? That we generated in our Clay table. And then coming back for a second, you see how we dropped this original response here at the bottom, just as an injection into the email? What that does is there you go. There's the whole continuity of the email, right? So as far as Mark's concerned, we're just replying to his email. But the cool thing is we're doing this in an automated fashion, right? So to me, it's pretty super powerful, especially if we get down to the point where we are getting super specific replies based off the questions they're asking, right? I wanted to be able to build the infrastructure to do it and prove out we could do it. We'll make it better. I mean, we'll start injecting videos, all kinds of things here. But man, we could get from reply to reply probably in about a minute with this, which is what I love about it. And then I wanted to show you what it really looks like, right? So let's go preview. I want to send from my main domain here, and I'll tell you why that's important here in a second. But I'm going to use my main email here because these are replies, right? So I don't necessarily care. I mean, some people choose to reply from whatever account they want, and that's fine. But I'm going to show you this test from my main domain. And I already have the email up here so you know it works, but let's just do it live so you see it works. So I'm doing it manually, but obviously you would have the campaign set to run. I'm going to send it to one of my other accounts, visibility.com, and we're going to hit send test email, right? So this would happen obviously on schedule automatically. I'll show you the settings here in a minute, but let's see. We should get it here in just a second if I put in the right email. Refresh. Well, I don't need to make you wait, but it's going to come. Here's what the email looks like, right? So I want you to see the quality of the email, right? So from me, hey Mark, thanks for reaching out. Here's the links. They're live. My calendar link. Over time, I want to figure out how to do these as, hyperlinks per se, not just the whole URL. But you can see this email looks good. I mean, here is his whole chain, and here's his reply to me and my reply back to him, right? So everything has followed the level of continuity that we would expect. So I think it's ready for prime time. I just want to inject, some of the reply strategies that we want to build in. The last thing is, at least with Instantly, I want to talk about the settings. So if we go to the settings of this campaign, number one, on the schedule, as you can see, I'd want to broaden the hours, right? Because this is not like your pure cold email. This is, I want to be able to reply anytime I want to, right? So I thought 5 a.m. to 11 was pretty cool. I think it's pretty normal to not reply overnight if, people are sleeping. And then I even check Saturday and Sunday. They're probably going to be like, "Why are you working on the weekends?" But it's really, my Clay Instantly connection here. And then the next thing here on options, a couple things you want to do differently here is, so this is my main domain. I chose my main domain because I'm replying. The reason why I reply from my main domain, we do this now, is because I want the continuity of the conversation to go on from there, from the point when we close them, we bring them on as a customer. They're always going to be using this to engage with us. So, but this could be anything. But again, I'm not cold outbounding with this email. I'm replying with this email. So just kind of make that distinction. I do want to track links. So if I give my calendar link and I, um, give them our pricing link, it'd be nice to see if they're clicking it. So I have that and open tracking enabled. Again, personal preference, but I'm not concerned about tracking opens and links on a reply, right? So if this was a cold email, it'd be totally different, but I'm replying to them. So that's what I keep stressing. You could change your daily limit, right? So if you're getting 100 positive replies a day, then man, you're killing it. But you can change your limit. I think 50 is probably fine. I don't know that we're getting 50 positive replies a day, but some days, we get close to that, but maybe like 25. I wouldn't put any gaps. I put 1 minute between the emails because, again, these are replies, right? This campaign is not going to send anything else but replies. So I'm not worried about, getting it flagged as spam or cold email because I'm replying to them. None of this is relevant. And then I think that's really it. So one of the tricks you could do, right? I think most CRMs have a CC option where you can copy an email address and it'll add it to your CRM. So this is possibly a way you could inject this lead into your CRM if you have that option. Or like us, we add them to the CRM through Zapier or manually, and then now the continuity of the conversation stays in the CRM. So that's just something on the setting side. But at the end of the day, I think what we've built here is what I would call our first foray into an automated reply system. This is again not to replace what Instantly is doing or anything else, but I just think I want to be able to control, how we classify replies, and then more importantly, I want to be able to control the process by which we do that. And this shows that it's possible. I mean, I could run this starting now live, and it would reply to people. I think if we're going to do this, which we will soon, we want to take it the next step and really, get those replies to match exactly what we can do. And maybe we can train that through embeddings. Maybe we can build in a PDF. Maybe we can try Claude, Cohere, Gemini, some other models to create better replies that are more contextually accurate. But I think there's a lot of automation here, and this is the power of Clay combined with your email platforming, especially if you're using Clay for any kind of lead gen or lead enhancement, because you already have all that data, and this is how you can tie it back together. So hopefully this video is helpful. Obviously, I'll share the workflow. Um, and there'll be there's a lot you can do specifically. It doesn't look like much of a complex table, but it kind of is. So hope you get a lot out of it. Thanks.